Good morning again. This is Rabbi Shlomo first here at Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi, our second year in Mishna Berura. We're going back a bit as the Ramah recommended to do in Siman Kuvav, recommended that we take a look what was previously written in Siman Pei Tes. So we have there in Siman Pei Tes, Sif Vov. Sif Vov. Actually, tell you the truth, just to get a running start, maybe let's go back to Sif Gimel. Okay, this is when the time of davening has come, right? So there are certain restrictions. A person is limited in what he can do, because really what he should be doing is getting himself ready to daven. That should be the main priority. The person wakes up, opens his eyes, lifts his head off the pillow slowly and surely and saying Modeh Nilo Benecha, and washing his hands. And his next priority should be, as soon as he gets himself up out of bed and cleaned up, is to prepare himself physically and mentally for the davening. So a person shouldn't be distracted. Of course, if there are certain things that will and can and do that, okay, but whether they're permissible to do, or whether it should be done, or it's recommended to or not to do them, that'll depend on a lot of details, primarily found here in Siman Pei Tes. So just to get a running start, take a look at Sif Gimel. What's that? You want to begin reading?
Pei Gimel?
Pei Tes, Sif Gimel. That's on page Shin Lamed Zayin. Page Shin Lamed Zayin.
Okay.
There. Gimel, Sif Gimel is the third line from the bottom there. Not in the Mishna Berura, in the Mechaber. The top section of the Mechaber, the Shulchan Aruch.
Asur?
That's right, you got
Okay.
it.
Asur lo lehisasek beats rachav o lelech laderech ad sheyes palel tefilas shemoneh esrei.
Okay, so let's stop here. It's forbidden, right? It's forbidden for a person to, this asek b'tzorach, to become involved with his needs, right? Or leilek b'laderech, or to set out on a journey, ad, until she's followed tefillas shmoneh esrei, until he's prayed the silent Amidah. Okay, that's it. Not supposed to be involved with anything except praying at the beginning of the day. Okay, in the brackets you have there.
Okay. V'yesh b'kilin la'achar she'amru miktsas barachos kodem she'amru baruch she'amar v'tov lahachmir bazeh.
Okay, so again, according to the Mechaber, it's forbidden to be involved with any of your needs before you've davened, or to set on a derech, to go out on a journey. The Ramah adds, Yesh Miklim, there are leniencies. There are those who are lenient. After Shomer Miksas brachas, after you said some brachas, Kodim She'amru Baruch She'omer. There's those brachas which they are said before Baruch She'omer. That's like Psukkah de Zimra. Nevertheless, Toiv Lahachmir B'zeh, still, okay, you have those leniencies that if necessary, sometimes a person, he's got himself a flight, he's got to get out on the road. You know, if he doesn't get to the airport by 6 a.m., right, he's not going to make that flight. Okay, whether he should set himself up at the onset, initially, to set himself up on a flight that's leaving at 6 a.m., where he's going to be caught between maybe not davening with the minyan, having to do things to do, and before davening, whether you should do that in the tefillah, that's questionable, right? If it's going to be a big, maybe should he do it? If he's going to save $200 on a ticket, right? Can he do it? Should he do it? You know, there are a lot of temptations, and the question is, what's the best thing to do? You should sit down with a rav, a rabbi, and discuss it. You get, the way it works these days, you get flights here and there and everywhere, all kinds of days of the week and any time of the day. So you have to what's worse, sometimes if you leave here early in the morning, so you're sacrificing shakras, but you get a ma'ariv when you get there. Sometimes you miss a ma'ariv when you get a shakras. It's like, sometimes you have to make transfers. It's very complicated. Like, it's not so simple. Obviously, l'katchila, ideally you should set it up in a way where you're not going to be forced to do anything that is less than ideal. Okay, but that's ideally. Like, not always can you do things ideally, but you could certainly try and set out to try and do it.
What does it mean, a person's needs?
Okay. Good question. The Mishna doesn't really explain, but I'll explain it as follows. Like, you have, let's say three categories. Okay, you have your needs for a mitzvah, number one. You have your needs for your personal body, and you have your needs for other activities, say your business, your family.
Is that a need or is that a desire and a want?
So first of all, you have to decide: is this something which is necessary or not? Okay, is it necessary or not? Okay, if it's not necessary, so there's really no excuse why you should be doing that before davening. If it's not necessary, like you want to take a look and see what the who won the ball game last night, right? So for that, you're going to have to do this and do that, whatever, right? You can run down and get the newspaper in the days when they used to have newspapers, right? So
what about playing with the dog? What if my daughter comes in the room?
Right.
Wants to play, wants to say hello, wants to say good morning. I hadn't even gotten out of bed yet.
Right. So again, if it's necessary for the how about changing a diaper? The baby needs a change, right?
And what do you do?
Right. Well, let's say washing the dishes, from last night's dinner.
Washing the dishes, they can sit there for 6 months. But when my daughter's in my face right this second and the dog's licking me, that's happening right this minute. What do I do right that second?
Right. Again, so again, if it's let's say you get a phone call, should you answer the phone?
Well, you don't have to answer the phone.
Right.
I have to respond to my daughter.
So that's right. So that's normal, right? You're normal. She's a human being.
So is that a need I'm fulfilling, or am I?
Yeah, that could be like even a mitzvah to take care of your child, to fulfill your child's desire to have a relationship with their father. That could be a mitzvah. Now,
Okay, so what happens first?
Okay, so now, are you supposed to spend a half an hour with the child and miss your minyan, right? Are you supposed to wake up your wife and say, "Hey, honey, take care of the kid"? I got to daven. Can you disturb someone else's sleep because you have to daven, right? There's a lot of different cogs in the wheel over here, right? So, in general, if it's a need of a mitzvah, so it's permissible, right? Permissible. If it can be avoided, you should try and avoid it, right? So, but again, if the child is up, the child needs you, even just to play with her. If you can distract her with something else, give her a wind-up toy, give her a puzzle to play with, So if you can distract her, that's very good, right? If you're stuck, you're stuck. It's like, for example, taking care of a young child is just like let's say a person had a person who was ill in the house, and he had to be taken care of. So you're in that point you putter from osik mitzvah, putter in a mitzvah.
Whoa! I'm sorry, that just fell on the ground.
Sorry.
That doesn't go back into the container, my friend. Please. No, not on the table. Table's clean.
Sure.
Into the trash, please.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
There we are, in the trash.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
A lot of germs that can make someone sick. You don't know what people walk around and there's stuff on the streets.
No, that fell on the floor.
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. just like if a person has to take care of the needs of a person who's ill, they're what they call they're shoymer for a koila. They're part of mitzvahs. As a matter of fact, it could be that it's forbidden for them to daven. And if the person's going to be distracted, if he has to take care of a person who's sick, and he has to be there, devoting his attention to the person who's sick, it could be forbidden to daven. It could be he's making brachos. If he makes brachos, he's making brachos with a Torah, right? Because his job is now to take care of that sick person, right? So a child, and especially at the young age, if they need attention, it's not necessarily like a sick person, but it's a person who needs your attention, right? So you could be in fact putter from davening, right? If that's the situation. Now, how to set up your lifestyle and your daily schedule in a way you can avoid, not having to face this situation on a regular basis. So that you have to try and work out. You have to pray for siyata d'shmaya. And the general rule is derech she'adam rotzeh leileh molikin. So in the direction, in the way that a person wants to go, he'll be taken in that way. And if a person, his goal is, I want to get to davening. It's important to daven and minyan. I realize that the whole success that a Jew has in this world is through his beseeching HaKodesh Baruch Hu for mercy. The tefillah is the kashus rachamim. We have to ask mercy for ourselves from HaKodesh Baruch Hu, right? That's our success, right? So he realizes that everything, all his success depends upon him, davening, and davening specifically with the minyan. Right? A person davens by himself, his tefillahs, his prayers are evaluated in a singular, individual way. When he's davening with the tzibur, with the congregation, so his tefillahs are going up with the prayers of the congregation. So they're not scrutinized as they are when he's davening by himself. So there's much more success a person has when he's davening with the congregation than when he's davening by himself. Right? So he has to try and develop his lifestyle in a way to try and fulfill these goals. But again, things can happen. Right? Let's say, now you get a phone call, so you can see in the caller ID, so you know who's calling. So let's say a guy's, it's before davening, and he gets a call. He says it's his father calling, right? Keep it out. Maybe should he answer the phone or not? If it's the mailman's, if the post office is calling him, so it says you have to answer it now. You answer it later. But maybe it has that check he's been waiting for, for the last 3.5 months. He finally discovered it after they lost it for 2 months. He's been on the phone with the post office, and they're saying, come down and get it now, right? So, so again, you have your needs, of your involvements in a mitzvah. You have your involvements of your goof, which sometimes converge on a mitzvah as well, right? With your family, and then you have your needs for sustenance, maintenance, parnasa, making livelihood, all these other things. Do a laundry, right? You do a laundry. You should do a laundry before davening. Right? You don't have to do it right now. But that's the only. Let's say you don't have any shirts, right? Let's say you. So what are you gonna do? If you have to do it, you have to do it. So again, you have to categorize all the different. But a very good question. What are tzarka? You have to categorize these things in terms of what their priorities are, what their needs are, whether it's needed now or is it impossible to do it at any other time, right? Okay. Oh, it says here that the last 3 lines in the bottom line of the Mechaber.
From Gimel?
Yeah, right. We went through the first 2 lines of Gimel. Now in the back of the Mechaber, the black bold line of print. Below Ola Achol.
V'lo le'echol v'lo lishtos aval mayin mutar lishtos kodem tefillah.
Okay, so a person is not to eat, he's not to drink, but water is mutter to drink before prayer.
Which were we up to?
Pay test Sif Gimel in the middle.
Pay test.
This is Bain B'chol.
Bain b'chol uvein b'shabas v'yom tov.
So that's whether the person's not supposed to eat or drink before prayer. That's whether during it's a weekday, whether it's Shabbos or it's Yom Tov. But water, in all cases, mutter to drink before prayer.
Okay. Bain, we just did that. Okay.
Yes, second line. V'chein cholim.
V'chein achalim umashkin lirfuah mutar.
So foods and drinks which are needed for refuah, right? That's permissible to eat or drink before before davening. Okay.
So this is real. It's like, everything we're talking about now really depends on each individual. Okay, this guy can handle this, and this guy can't handle that, and this guy needs this to happen, and this guy doesn't need that to happen. It's all relative to the human being involved and what they can and can't handle. And how can we, as human beings, say, you know what, that guy should be able to handle? Who am I to decide what that guy can and can't handle?
Yeah, no, you're right. We're not deciding. The person has to know his situation. He has to confer with the proper rabbi who's familiar with the halachas. If he has specific questions in terms of what he should be doing, to discuss the situation, discuss what the laws are relevant. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a very long Mishna Berura under Mayin Mutar. Is this are these like restrictions on that?
They're actually the restriction. Not only restriction, but there's an inclusion of tea and coffee and these types of things, and tea and coffee with milk, tea and coffee with sugar, right? So in general, plain coffee and plain tea are considered to be in the same category as water, which is permissible. And not only that, if it's a person's drinking coffee or tea that have caffeine, he's using it for medicinal purposes to keep alert. So that's also another leniency. And the question is,
concentrate on davening coffee.
Yeah, many
That's
people.
okay?
Yeah. Sugar and milk are discussed in detail whether you should have it with sugar and milk. But the main point is that it used to be that people would drink these beverages, coffee and tea, with sugar, and look at it be a form of being prideful, being gaiva, pride. But that doesn't exist so much in our time as it used to. So the restrictions are relaxed a bit about milk, and even sometimes in terms of sugar, especially if it's very bitter. Sometimes people put the sugar in the coffee just to balance out the bitterness of the coffee, not necessarily to make it sweet. But
So the first line even says, "Delo sheyach bahu." I guess this is gaiva.
yeah, by water, drinking water before davening is not. It's not shy of gaiva. The person drinks water is not. There's a question whether or not you can even sometimes people don't even make shakol on water because it's not. You're just drinking it. Not so much to get a pleasure from it. You're just going to take care of the thirst. But that's another shayla. We're not going to get into the question of shayla and water or not. That's a separate question. But in terms of davening before drinking water before davening, so water is basically permissible because there's no type of a pride in drinking water. And that's dafkable without sugar. But if you put sugar in the water, right, you get these flavored waters. That would be awesome.
What does shayach mean?
It's not in this context. Lo shayach. It's not. So there's no association in drinking water with gaiva.
And this is the shorish? I guess shen yud.
Yes, that's right.
This is a rabbinic word, not so much in Tanakh, right? I think.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Okay, we'll have to stop here. And we'll continue, Mr. Shem.